take a look to my right. You can just see that this sign has planted itself on this car, and this is just a little bit of the damage that I've been seeing. I'm going to step out of the way, Crystal, so you and our viewers can see just the amount of officers that are here in Polk County. You know, you're looking at local, state, and federal authorities. Good news is there were no injuries reported. I'm told that no one was inside of this business. It's actually a sporting goods store and a feed mill store. Well, Crystal, the good news is that we are not seeing any snow, but you can see this wind. I mean, just take a look at my umbrella right now. This wind is not cute. It's not attractive. I don't know what it's trying to do. If folks are driving in this area, be expecting delays. I'm right alongside I-57 southbound line, but I'm actually going to swing you all over this way just so you can see. I've been here for a little more than 2 hours, and you can just see that it has gotten a nice little layer of snow. There's a lot of folks that, you know, they haven't seen each other since the last Bowl and Bop event. So like I said, a lot of bowling, a lot of eating, some dancing. It's going to be a good time. Live in Carbondale, Ray Daniel, Heartland News.
Thank you, Ray. I think she's all set to go. Yeah, a little dance move there. Well,
now, if there isn't a sidewalk like you can see on this intersection, make sure that you are facing traffic. So the way that I'm walking right now actually would be the wrong way, but since I'm facing traffic this way, something that he's been talking about, we're not exactly sure what's expected at this protest. That's kind of the biggest thing, but this is what we do know. What we know is that, you know, students have been raising concern about racism and about safety because of some video that was circulating threatening lynching as well as attacking protesters today. Crystal, the state has gone 10 months without a budget, and it is heavily impacting school districts all throughout the state. I spoke with the superintendent here in Harrisburg, and he says, you know, they have money up until June, but if they don't have a budget for the August year, they'll have to rely on reserve money, and that can only last until roughly October or November. And as we speak, I mean, the gas prices are changing here in Anna. It was $2.29, and you can see one of the employees are actually changing the gas prices right now. It looked like he was putting a 3 after that 2.
According to the Centers for Disease Control, more than 1,700 people in the U.S. have died of the West Nile virus since it was first discovered back in 1999.
But one West Nile survivor with special Heartland ties is making sure he is not a part of that statistic. Ray Daniel is live tonight with his story.
Jeff and Kathy, he's a son, a husband, a brother, and also my awesome dad. But more importantly, he's a fighter who has defied the odds against a disease that almost ended his life. For 53-year-old Jeff Daniel, walking, let alone walking across this graduation stage, would have been close to impossible just 3 years ago.
I had a trach. I couldn't speak. The only thing I could do is move my head to left to right.
In August of 2012, my dad had contracted West Nile virus, a deadly disease he got from a mosquito bite in Ohio. According to the Centers for Disease Control, less than 1% who are infected with West Nile will develop a serious illness, such as viral meningitis, which is what he had.
Within a few days of being in the emergency room, I went from walking myself into the emergency room to being in a coma on a ventilator.
Losing about 70 pounds and in the hospital for more than 3 months, he had to relearn what he had been doing for years. But he made the impossible possible with just one step at a time.
I never lost faith. To go from a wheelchair to a walker, to a cane, to walking on my own, and walking tall does not mean the journey is over by any means.
He recently just walked across the stage to earn his MBA at Xavier University in Cincinnati, Ohio, walking for his wife, family, and friends, but also for himself.
I felt awesome, but not awesome just for myself. I felt awesome for all of those people who prayed for me, that we prayed together, for all the people who gave me support, for all the people who encouraged me.
He says his message to everyone is to never take life for granted.
So love one another. Life is short. I feel I got a second chance, and I want to make the most of it.
Now, my dad said his journey doesn't stop at graduation. It's an everyday race of getting better and feeling stronger. He says he wants to continue to share his story so others know that anything is possible. Live, local, late breaking, Ray Daniel, Heartland News.
I didn't get into education for this kind of nonsense, and I'm sorry it's nonsense.
It's been 10 months the state of Illinois has gone without a budget, and school districts fear the worst if this impasse continues into the summer.
If we started in August with no budget and no state money, we would have about 40 days cash on hand. If our property tax money came in on time, we feel like that would carry us another month or two.
And the superintendent says if that scenario plays out, come this October or November, this school district will be completely out of money, having to close their doors.
I look at pictures like this of an event we did at our elementary school where we're celebrating children reading and doing the things that we're supposed to do in education, and I'm going to send them home with no breakfast, no lunch, no education, and close our doors because men in Springfield can't sit across the table and just come to a common sense conclusion about what needs to be done for kids.
For Joe Thompson, who's been a teacher here for 25 years and also has children that recently graduated from Harrisburg High School, he says the whole situation is frustrating.
As a teacher, as a parent, whose fault it is really is not my concern. I just need men and women who are in charge of money to sit down, realize that teenage boys and girls are suffering because of this, and see that picture and just do what's necessary to get the funds available so that they can take care of it.
School districts do have the option to borrow money, but that could be an expensive proposition. Gouch says that's even if a bank would take the financial risk of giving them a loan. Live local late-breaking Ray Daniel, Heartland News.
It's amazing.
More than 30,000 people come to enjoy the nearly 600 quilts on display during this event.
It's just wonderful. I'm not creative, and so I'm just amazed at the creativity that goes on.
I really truly think that quilting is something that sets in our souls and our spirits and leaves a legacy when we're gone.
Quilters enter in their unique and creative designs from all around the world. This year, 44 states and 13 countries are represented.
The quilters just keep trying new things all the time, so that just makes the quilts different each year.
When Utah native Marilyn Badger found out she was the grand prize winner, she said she was at a loss for words.
I've been entering here since 2002, various categories, and this one was just a total shock.
Although entering many different quilts in the past for the show, this specific one was a therapy project just for her.
I never had any intention to enter it because my husband passed away 3 years ago, and I kind of lost my feel for it. So I wanted to piece something and just kind of get lost in it.
The project took about a year and a half to complete, and once she finished, she decided to enter it.
My husband was so much into my competing, and he loved it. So I thought, well, okay, I've got to go back and fix a bunch of stuff because it's got to be perfect, right?
Badger says she is beyond thrilled that her quilt titled Arándano, meaning blueberry in Spanish for the thousands of blueberries shown, will be placed in the National Quilt Museum. Live local late breaking Ray Daniel, Heartland News.